Pull out your credit card right now. Look at it. Because that thing in your hand is one of the most psychologically sophisticated financial weapons ever engineered. And the people who built it knew exactly what they were doing to your brain. Today, we're getting into why swiping a credit card genuinely doesn't feel like spending money and why that one psychological gap is quietly costing the average American thousands of dollars every single year. Here's something that will immediately make sense once I say it. Spending cash hurts. Literally. A 2001 MIT study put people in brain scanners and had them make purchases. When they paid with cash, the insula, the part of your brain associated with pain and disgust, activated. Real neurological pain response, just from handing over money. But when they paid with a card, that pain response was significantly muted, almost absent. The researchers called it the pain of paying. And credit card companies have known about this effect or something very close to it since the beginning. They didn't need the brain scans. They had the spending data. People spend more when they don't use cash consistently, reliably, every single time. A study from the Journal of Consumer Research found that people spend between 12 and 18% more when paying by card versus cash, 12 to 18%. On everything, groceries, restaurants, clothes. That number compounds across every purchase you make across an entire year into a genuinely significant amount of money, leaving your account that your brain never registered as a loss. So why does this happen? Here's the core mechanism. Money is abstract, always has been. But cash makes it slightly less abstract. It's a physical object you hold, count, and hand to another person. When you give someone a $20 bill, you can feel it leaving. There's a transaction that happens in your hands, not just on a screen. A credit card removes every single one of those physical anchors. The card stays in your hand, nothing leaves. You swipe, tap, or insert, and walk away with your stuff. Your brain never processes a loss because nothing tangible moved. Think of it like this. Imagine you have a bucket of water. Cash purchases are like scooping water out with your hand. You feel the temperature, the weight, the water leaving. Card purchases are like a slow drain at the bottom of the bucket. The water is leaving. You just can't feel it happening, and you don't notice until the bucket is empty. But it goes even deeper than that. And this is where credit cards get genuinely sinister. There's a psychological phenomenon called decoupling. When you pay cash, consumption and payment happen at the same moment. You get the coffee, you pay for the coffee. The pleasure and the pain are linked. But with a credit card, you get the coffee today. You pay for it sometime next month. The pleasure is immediate and vivid. The payment is distant and abstract. Your brain files these as two separate events. The purchase feels free because the payment hasn't happened yet. And when the payment eventually does happen, bundled with 30 other charges on a statement, the brain can't connect it back to any specific moment of enjoyment. A 2008 study from Drazen Prelek and Duncan Semester at MIT found that this decoupling effect was so powerful that people were willing to pay literally twice as much for the same item when using a credit card versus cash. Twice. For the same thing. Because the future payment felt unreal. Now here's where it gets personal. Drop in the comments, have you ever looked at your credit card statement at the end of the month and genuinely not recognized half the charges? Like you have no memory of spending that money? That's not carelessness. That's your brain working exactly as the card was designed to make it work. The credit card industry generates over $140 billion annually in interest and fees from American consumers. 140 billion. That number doesn't exist without the psychological engineering baked into every card in your wallet. And here's the part that should make you uncomfortable. The rewards points, the cash back, the travel miles, those aren't benefits the card company is giving you. They're psychological tools designed to make you feel positive about your card while spending more than the rewards are worth. A 2016 study from the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston found that for every dollar in rewards earned, Cardholders spent significantly more than that dollar in additional purchases triggered by the reward psychology. You're not winning the rewards game. You're playing a game designed so the house always wins. Okay, so what do you actually do with this information? Because the answer isn't just stop using credit cards. For most people, that's not realistic and honestly not necessary. The goal is to close the psychological gap to make card spending feel as real as cash spending. And there are specific ways to do that. First, the receipt method. Every time you make a card purchase, immediately open your banking app and look at your balance after the transaction. Don't wait for the statement. See the number go down in real time. This manually recreates the pain of paying that the card removed. It's not comfortable. That's the point. Discomfort at the moment of purchase is the entire mechanism that keeps spending in check. Second, cash envelope for high-risk categories. You don't need to go full cash for everything, but identify your highest discretionary spending categories, dining out, entertainment, impulse shopping, and use physical cash for those specifically. The psychological friction of handing over bills in the exact categories where you overspend most is enough to shift behavior without completely restructuring how you handle money. Third, never spend to a statement. Most people mentally budget by statement cycle. They think I have room on my card this month. That's the wrong frame. Your credit card is not a monthly budget. It's a running total of real money you owe right now. Checking it weekly instead of monthly keeps the number feeling real rather than abstract and distant. Here's the thing that makes this harder than it sounds. Your card isn't the only thing working against you. Every single point of sale is designed to minimize the pain of payment. Contactless tap payments, one-click online checkout, saved card details, buy now, pay later, Apple Pay. All of it is payment friction removal at scale. Every layer of convenience added to spending is a layer of psychological protection removed from your wallet. The financial system is not neutral. It is actively engineered to make spending feel easier and saving feel harder. Not because of a conspiracy, because that's what's profitable. Understanding that isn't paranoia. It's just accurate. And here's something almost nobody talks about. The credit card psychological effect doesn't just affect how much you spend, it affects what you spend on. Research shows that when people pay by card, they're more likely to choose indulgent options over practical ones, more likely to buy the upgrade, more likely to add the extras, more likely to choose based on want rather than need. Because when payment is abstract, the only thing left influencing the decision is desire. There's no counterweight. The immediate appeal of the better option wins by default because the cost never felt real enough to compete. So here's where we land. Your brain genuinely doesn't process credit card spending the same way it processes losing real money. That's not a personal failure, that's neuroscience. The card was engineered specifically to exploit that gap, and the system around it was built to deepen that gap at every opportunity. Closing that gap manually through real-time balance checks, strategic cash use, and weekly statement reviews is one of the highest return financial habits you can build. Not because it's complicated, because it makes the invisible visible. And once you can see the water leaving the bucket, you stop letting it drain without noticing. If this channel is showing you things about money that nobody else is saying, plainly subscribe. Every week, Scott Finance breaks down exactly this: the psychology, the mechanisms, the truth behind why smart people keep making the same financial mistakes. Hit the button.